The movie begins with a grand auction, where a 1937 Bugatti is placed on stage. The auctioneer announces that it is one of the world's rarest cars, with only 2 models existing worldwide. Everyone is extremely excited to purchase this beautiful Bugatti. The bidding starts at $30 million. Some bid $32 million, others bid $34 million, and the price continues to rise. We see a man named Jack, who contacts his boss and places the final bid of $41 million purchasing this legendary Bugatti. Meanwhile, we are introduced to 2 brothers who are professional thieves, Andrew and Garrett. Both are obsessed with luxury and supercars and have already stolen some of the world's finest vehicles. Andrew is angry with Garrett because Garrett's girlfriend stole one of his cars the previous night and ran away. They are waiting for Jack, who is supposed to transport the Bugatti by truck along this route because they are planning to steal it. A short while later, Andrew spots the truck and realizes it is carrying the Bugatti, and they begin their dangerous plan. As planned, Garrett starts driving his car toward the truck. Andrew uses a rope to swing himself onto the truck. As the truck approaches, Andrew jumps, but the landing is not perfect and he nearly falls. At the last moment, he manages to grab onto the truck while Garrett follows closely behind. Seeing Andrew hanging from the truck, Garrett drives closer so Andrew can step onto the car. Andrew climbs onto the roof of Garrett's car and then makes his way back onto the truck. Garrett then drives ahead and blocks the truck's path. Jack realizes they are trying to steal the Bugatti, and the driver becomes confused and panicked. Jack puts a gun to the driver's head and orders him to ram the car in front. The driver crashes into Garrett's car several times. Garrett realizes they will not stop, so he turns the car around and stops directly in front of the truck, forcing it to collide and slow down. Jack fires repeatedly at Garrett, but soon runs out of bullets. Taking advantage of this moment, Garrett jumps out, climbs onto the truck, cuts the brake wires, and moves toward Andrew. Andrew opens the truck's door, and they both get inside. They quickly enter the Bugatti and try to start it. Meanwhile, Jack tells the driver to stop the truck, but the brakes fail completely. Jack is forced to jump out to deal with the situation himself. The 2 brothers manage to start the Bugatti and escape with the rare car. At the same time, the truck loses control and overturns badly. Overjoyed at stealing such an expensive vehicle, they go to a bar to celebrate. Andrew's friend Stephanie is also there. Stephanie slaps him hard and angrily asks why he did not take her along when they stole the Bugatti. Andrew promises her that he will definitely take her along on the next heist. In fact, Stephanie is also a member of their team. Here we learn that Andrew and Garrett are half-brothers, connected by their father, and stealing expensive cars has become their life's mission. However, they have no idea what trouble awaits them. The next day, they go to a man named Jamie to sell the Bugatti. Jamie is the one who usually assigns them jobs to steal cars. But this time, Jamie refuses to take the car because he knows it does not belong to an ordinary person, but to a very powerful criminal. Garrett argues that they delivered the car on time and deserve to be paid for their work. Jamie gives a signal to his men, and they capture the 2 brothers. A fierce fight breaks out. However, Jamie's men are far more numerous, and they brutally beat Andrew and Garrett. Jamie decides he will return the car to its real owner because he does not want to create problems with such a dangerous man. At that moment, Jack arrives, searching for the Bugatti. Jamie is terrified to see him and quickly says that he did not know who the car belonged to, and that Jack can take it back. When Andrew and Garrett regain consciousness, they find themselves tied to chairs on a high platform. Standing before them is the Bugatti's real owner, a man named Morier. It was Jamie who handed them over to him. Morier is a powerful businessman with a dark past. He tells them that he was born into poverty, started from nothing, and built his empire through crime and ruthless deals. Today, he presents himself as a successful and respected businessman. Morier becomes furious and says that stealing his car was the biggest mistake of their lives. To prove his authority, he kills Jamie in front of them, even though Jamie once worked for him. Morier then says he wants to show them something. He takes them to a massive garage filled with some of the world's most legendary and rare cars. The garage is enormous and packed with priceless vehicles. Andrew and Garrett are stunned and cannot take their eyes off the collection. Morier explains that collecting rare cars is his greatest passion and that he loves them more than his own life. He reloads his gun and prepares to kill them. At that moment, Garrett quickly proposes a new plan for another heist. He suggests that they can steal a Ferrari even more valuable than the Bugatti and deliver it to Morier. Andrew supports the idea and begins telling Morier about a man named Max. Max was born into wealth and showed extraordinary intelligence from a young age. He attended university at just 15 years old and earned an MBA while still much younger than his classmates. Despite being 7 years younger than others, he outperformed everyone in intelligence and decision-making. As Max grew older, he began running his family business in his own unique style. When he turned 30, his aging father handed over the entire business empire to him. On that occasion, his father gave him a special gift, a 1962 Ferrari. This Ferrari is a one-of-a-kind model, the only one in existence, and today it is worth over $1 million. Andrew explains that their plan is to steal this Ferrari from Max. Max and Morier are sworn enemies. Morier admits that Max has caused him losses worth millions, and he wants revenge. However, Morier insists that stealing Max's car is impossible. Garrett convinces him by saying, "Just give us one chance, and we will bring the Ferrari to you." Morier likes their plan and gives them 1 week to complete the job. He warns them that if they fail to deliver the car within 7 days, they will both be killed. Moriarty's men then throw them into the water and leave. Garrett worries and asks how they can possibly pull off such a massive heist in only 7 days. Andrew replies that they must steal the car somehow within this week, or Moriarty will kill them. He also tells Garrett that this will be his last heist. After this job, he wants to quit stealing forever because he is planning to marry Stephanie and live a peaceful life. Garrett tries to convince him otherwise, reminding him that their entire livelihood depends on stealing cars. When they return home, Stephanie is upset because she has been waiting for Andrew all day. Garrett explains everything that happened between them and Moriarty. Stephanie decides to join the plan since they only have a week. She tells them about a friend who lives in the same city and suggests adding her to the team. Her friend is an expert pickpocket who uses her beauty and intelligence to steal from people without being noticed. Even the police struggle to catch her because of her skills. Stephanie and this girl have worked together many times before. Her name is Devon. Garrett immediately likes Devon and she agrees to join the team. Because the plan is big and dangerous, they also need an explosives expert. They meet a man named Ian who can blow up an entire house within seconds. Ian is highly skilled at his work, and he agrees to become part of the team. Next, they recruit 4 professional race drivers. After testing their abilities, Andrew is impressed by their driving skills. All 4 drivers are added to the group. The entire team gathers to plan the heist. Garrett explains everyone's roles, and they agree that each person will play a crucial part in the mission. When Andrew and Garrett return to their apartment, they find a stranger waiting for them. Andrew grabs a baseball bat and demands to know who he is. The man introduces himself as Laurent and reveals that he is Moriarty's cousin. Laurent explains that Moriarty sent him to join the plan and keep an eye on their activities. He also claims that he is there to help because he knows someone named Cone, who is close to Max's family. According to Laurent, Cone works with Max and manages his illegal dealings. If Cone helps them reach Max's house, they can discover the location of the secret garage. The team goes with Laurent to meet Cone, but he refuses to cooperate because he does not trust Moriarty's cousin. Stephanie steps in and explains that Andrew and Garrett are among the best drivers in the world and can steal any car. Cone finally agrees, but only on one condition. He wants to test Andrew and Garrett's driving skills first. Garrett's test is to spin the car around without knocking over a bottle placed at the center. Garrett successfully passes the test and everyone is impressed. However, the next test is even more dangerous. They are told to use their car to stop a moving plane that is about to take off. Andrew tries to discourage the idea, but Cone bluntly tells him that if they cannot stop the plane, they should forget about ever reaching Max. Andrew informs Garrett about this over the radio, and without wasting any time, they head toward the plane. As they approach the airport, the police begin chasing them because unauthorized vehicles are not allowed inside. Using their exceptional driving skills, Andrew and Garrett crash through the pursuing police cars one by one and race toward the runway at full speed. Garrett drives directly in front of the plane and opens the car's roof. Just as the pilot prepares for takeoff, Garrett slams the car into the plane's engine. The impact causes a massive explosion that destroys the engine and prevents the aircraft from taking off. The brothers successfully pass the test. Cone is shocked by their performance, and after witnessing their driving, becomes convinced that they are true professionals. Cone then reveals that both the plane and the airport belong to Max. He advises them to meet Max personally, otherwise Max will send his men to remove them by force. Following this advice, they head straight to Max's mansion. When Max sees them, he angrily asks if they even understand who they have challenged and how they managed to destroy his expensive plane. Garrett calmly replies that if Max works with them, he can earn far more than what he lost. He explains that they can steal the world's rarest and most valuable cars for him. Andrew also speaks confidently and tries to convince Max that he can trust them. Max is impressed by Andrew's confidence and demeanor, and despite the damage to his plane, he agrees to work with them. At the same time, Laurent casually mentions that he is a fan of rare cars and asks Max to show his collection. Max is surprised that Laurent knows about such a secret. Max already knows that Laurent is Moriarty's cousin, which makes him hesitant. Laurent lies and claims that he despises Moriarty because Moriarty treats him like a servant and that he does not even want Moriarty to remain alive. Max eventually believes him and takes the group to see his private car collection. Inside the garage, everyone is amazed by Max's rare and expensive vehicles. Among them is the 1962 Ferrari, the exact car Moriarty wants them to steal. However, Andrew focuses more on Max than on the cars. He secretly watches Max enter the garage's security code by observing his reflection in a mirror. After leaving, Andrew writes down the code and gives it to Stephanie. Later, Andrew and Laurent argue because Andrew does not trust him and does not want him involved. He fears that Laurent might reveal their deal to Moriarty. When they return to their apartment, they find 2 Interpol officers waiting for them. The officers explain that they are investigating a series of rare car thefts across Europe, and in every case, the same 2 brothers appear to be involved. As they leave, one officer warns them that next time he will return with solid evidence against them. Earlier, only Max and Moriarty were chasing them, but now Interpol is also after the brothers. Andrew and Garrett talk about the situation. Andrew feels worried because it is the first time he has had to depend on such a large team. Garrett advises him to trust the team and assures him that they will get through this together. Meanwhile, Stephanie goes shopping at a local market. Suddenly, Jack quietly approaches her and tries to kidnap her, warning her to come with him without making a sound. Stephanie stays calm and cleverly steals an apple on purpose. When the shopkeeper comes to confront her, she uses the distraction to run away. During the chaos, another man appears, and together they capture Stephanie. At the same time, Andrew and Garrett are on their way to another location. Marier's men suddenly appear and open fire on them. After escaping the attackers, they return home, where Devon informs them that Morier has kidnapped Stephanie. Hearing this, Andrew becomes furious. He storms to Morier's house without fear and even beats Jack brutally. Morier then pulls out a gun and warns Andrew that if he wants to see Stephanie alive, he must cooperate without question. Morier takes them to his garage, where Stephanie is tied beneath a running car. The wheels spin dangerously above her head, threatening to fall at any moment. Morier tells Andrew that if he wants to save her, he must deliver Max's Ferrari as soon as possible and reveal the entire plan along with his team. Andrew agrees and says he will introduce the team and explain everything the next morning. Stephanie is then removed from under the car and locked in a room. The following day, Andrew introduces Morier to the entire team and explains the plan. First, they will steal a bulldozer. Then they will steal police cars and uniforms. Devon will call Max and warn him that the police are about to raid his house, forcing him to escape. Once Max leaves, they will steal the Ferrari. While Andrew is explaining the plan, several of Max's men suddenly arrive. Soon after, Max himself lands in a helicopter. He approaches Morier and tells him that he already knows about the plan to steal his car and that he is always 10 steps ahead. After saying this, Max leaves. Morier becomes furious and orders Andrew to carry out the heist the very next day. He says he will come personally to collect the Ferrari once it is stolen. Morier also instructs Laurent to keep a close watch on the team. That night, Andrew, Garrett, and Laurent are sitting together when two Interpol officers suddenly arrive. The officers suspect they are planning something serious and warn them that they are being watched at all times. To mislead the officers, Andrew starts a fake argument with Laurent to make it seem like they do not trust each other. Andrew even punches Laurent to make the fight look real. The officers step in and separate them, ending the confrontation. Angry and humiliated by what happened, Laurent later lashes out and attacks Stephanie. But Stephanie uses her intelligence and cleverly steals the key to the room where she is locked. The next day, Morier goes to the location where he arranged to meet Andrew to steal Max's car. However, officers suddenly arrive and begin questioning Morier. Meanwhile, Andrew and his entire team prepare to carry out the heist. At this moment, it is revealed that they are not planning to steal Max's car at all. Instead, they are targeting Morier's rare car collection, and the entire plan has been secretly arranged with Max. The team boards a bus and heads toward Morier's mansion. At the same time, Stephanie escapes from the room and quietly reaches the security control area. She hacks into the system and, knowing the team is about to arrive, activates the emergency alarm. The guards believe an intruder has entered the house and begin searching everywhere. Taking advantage of the confusion, Stephanie slips away unnoticed. Andrew and the team arrive outside, and Stephanie opens the main gate from inside, allowing everyone to enter the mansion. Leon immediately plants explosives on the garage door. Within seconds, the door is blown open by a powerful blast. Before the guards can respond, the team begins driving away with Morier's cars. When Morier's men rush to chase them, they discover that Leon has already planted explosives in their vehicles as well. As soon as Leon presses the detonator, the cars explode and the team escapes safely. Since Morier fails to provide clear answers, the officers move to arrest him. Morier realizes that these are not real Interpol officers. He orders Jack to open fire, and one of the officers is shot in the shoulder. Using the chaos as an opportunity, Morier escapes. Morier soon realizes that Andrew has stolen his cars, so he speeds off in pursuit. On the highway, Andrew suddenly stops the car, looks at Stephanie and asks her if she will marry him. Stephanie happily says yes without hesitation. Meanwhile, Morier continues chasing them. To confuse him, Andrew changes routes and splits the team into different directions. However, Morier and Laurent continue to pursue Andrew. A long and intense chase follows. Laurent gets very close and is about to shoot Andrew when his car crashes into an oncoming truck. A massive explosion occurs, killing Laurent instantly. Andrew signals Leon to prepare the next step of the plan. The cars race toward a bridge at full speed. As they reach it, Leon detonates the explosives. The blast happens slightly earlier than expected while Andrew is still on the bridge. The structure begins to collapse. With perfect control and focus, Andrew accelerates at maximum speed and manages to cross just in time. The bridge collapses completely behind him. When Morier reaches the bridge and sees that it has been destroyed, he takes another route to continue the chase. Andrew, Garrett, and the rest of the team reach the city and head toward the port. But Morier suddenly appears at the port entrance. Andrew and Garrett stop their cars and step out. From a distance, Andrew tells Morier that the game is over. But Morier Morier refuses to listen and drives straight toward them at full speed. Suddenly, a bus crashes into Morier's car, causing it to explode and fall into the water, killing him instantly. The driver of the bus turns out to be Devon, and at that moment, she finally confesses her love to Garrett. The team then transports all the stolen cars onto a cargo ship, successfully completing the mission. It is later revealed that the two Interpol officers were actually working with Andrew from the very beginning. In another major twist, Max was also secretly part of Andrew and Garrett's plan all along. The real objective was never to steal the Bugatti. The Bugatti was only used as bait to trap Morier and gain access to his rare car collection. Max is impressed by Andrew and his team, unaware that an even bigger surprise awaits him. A few days later, Max faces the consequences of trusting them. Devon uses the security code Andrew had given her to access Max's private garage. With the help of another team, she steals all of Max's priceless Ferraris, which are worth far more than Morier's collection. In the end, Andrew and his crew outsmart both Morier and Max, using them against each other to execute the ultimate double heist. This brings the story to its conclusion.